we are talking about the Elite webinar series. And if you do not know me, my name is Oyindamola Ojueriamiato. I am the founder of the Elite Hub. This is an initiative that I started to help the underrepresented, gain skills in digital learning design through webinars, workshops, and conferences and social events. I'm the Chief Learning Officer at Bekamula Learning Solutions, Event Board Director at the Learning Network. I love community building, and that's why I'm so passionate about championing e-learning in Africa and all over the world globally. I mean, this initiative started with focus on people from Africa, and we've had people join us from different parts of the world. It's been amazing. I am Genially ambassador, and I'm really, really passionate about development, or the professional development of people in the industry. So about the Elite series, like I mentioned earlier, we have our Elite series free monthly webinar, like what we're having today. We usually have e-learning workshops where we get our hands dirty and dive into learning different ways of adopting technology to design learning. We've had workshops on AI, the use of AI for learning design and learning development. We've done scenario-based learning, and the last workshop we had was on gamification. These workshops usually we usually have like 3 to 4 sessions where we learn and then we practice. And then we also have a mentorship program where we have experts who volunteer to mentor those that are just coming in. We have a mentoring platform. If you would like to volunteer, we're going to be sharing the link in the chat today, and you'll be able to join as a mentor. And if you want to be mentored, you can also just go on the platform and choose anyone that fits, whose profile fits what you're trying to achieve. And we also have career chats where we have people who have been in this career for a while coming to talk to us about how they navigated their journey. And without wasting our time, I'm going to be introducing to us today our special speaker today, Neha. I'm not going to be able to do justice in introducing her, so I'm going to leave her to talk about herself. So Neha, I hope I'm pronouncing it. Is it Neha? Neha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Indamola. It's Neha, and you were very close, so no worries there. I'm still trying to figure out how to share my screen here, but it's nice to see both of you here, and it's going to be a nice and intimate session. We'll probably end early because we're a small group, but I think that will leave time for any question and answers, and of course for the special announcements that you have around Indamola. So I don't like being introduced by somebody, so thank you for not doing it. It's embarrassing, but I have a very big social media presence. So this is a task for both the participants, Kirti and Adair Tunji. Am I saying it right? If you could unmute yourself and say your name once, that'd be very helpful.
Yes, that's my name. My name is Adetunji.
Adetunji, did I say it right? Cool. All right. So Adetunji and Kirti, I want you to look me up. You have my name right here at the bottom left, and tell me a fact about myself. I'll give you 1 minute. Go online, find something about me in ways of introduction, and add it here, please, in the chat. I'll tell you something here that it might not be very easily searchable for anybody. So I have 2 kids and a small dog. What else have you been able to find about me? Put on your detective hats on and tell me something about me that you can find online. Oyindamola, you're most welcome to take part in it too, please. Oh, I'm in India now. Yes. Something I told you. Very smart. Kirti, yes, my book's name is Back on Your Feet, which is, oh, that's so sweet of you. It is doing amazing. It's getting a lot of attention and love from people. Little known fact, I've written another book where I'm a co-author, which is by Association of Talent Development, and it is for learning and development people who want to get into organizational development as a function. So I'm one of the co-authors of that book. Aditunji, were you able to find something about me? Ooh, yes, I have just started a podcast series, and it is very closely related to the topic that we'll be talking about today. So if I'm successful in getting you interested in the boring topic of knowledge management, I invite you to take a look at the podcast and maybe find out a little more. So Aditunji, looks like you haven't found anything about me yet. I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
My name is long, but okay, I'll tell you just a bit. I'm a postgraduate in organizational psychology, and I have a CPTD, which is Certified Professional in Talent Development certification. And I've been in the field of talent development for almost 14 years now. So, but enough about me. I think that's the boring part. I want to know more about you, about the participants, and also about Aindamola. And in terms of introduction, I would love to know this about all three of you. One, of course, your name, which I see right now, so you don't need to type it. But tell me, what's your location? Where are you joining us from today? The company that you work for, and also what makes you unique. So when I say unique, it doesn't have to be a personal detail or anything, but anything that you think makes you different from anybody in this virtual room today, write that. In my case, I've lived in 8 countries, and I think that that makes me unique in many rooms that I'm in. So go ahead, write that in the chat so we get to know each other a little better. Artoji, there's no excuse this time. I want to see your answer. Oh, you're the first one to respond. Super. Oh, Lagos, Nigeria. Cool. And something that makes you unique. Kirti, how about you? I'm a training facilitator. Something that makes you unique, Aditunji. In this room, I think all of us are training facilitators. You're in UK, yes. And 20 years of, wow, entrepreneurship experience. Super. Oh, that's such a cool phrase. You're a generous listener. I've never heard anybody say that, but that's such an important quality to have. And I'm so happy for the people in your life, honestly. And I hope you have people in your life who are generous listeners for you too. Okay, I don't know how to give that thumbs up. I'm trying. Yes. Cool. How about you, Kirti? Kirti, you there? Let us know if you haven't.
What is unique?
Yes, what's unique about you? And where are you joining us from today? Cool. So while we wait for the response, great. She's from Delhi, working as a freelancer, and uniqueness, still thinking. Cool. We'll wait for that. Whenever it comes to you, do share it with us. So let's begin with today's topic that you all know is know what you know. And I know there are lots of no's in this sentence, but it's about knowledge. It's about knowledge management, which is one of the unsexy stepchild of talent development, is what I've realized over the years. And I add this quote everywhere I talk about knowledgement. It's by Lew Platt, who was the former CEO of HP. And he was a person who grew through the ranks. So he started as the lowest level of engineers and went on to become the CEO. So he had seen the company through lots of different phases and knew the knowledge that lied within the company, which was untapped. So if HP knew what HP knows, we would be 3 times much more productive. And that's, I think, is not just an HP problem. I think it's a problem for most organizations, because people are not aware of what they already know and how they can harness this knowledge that they have internally. So without being too pedantic, I thought I'll tell you about the agenda for today and tell you what to expect in the next half an hour or so that we're together. So we start with why should I care? I'm very aware that this is not a topic that most people like. So I'll start with why should it be something that every learning and development person should care about, and still they don't. Then two, I'll walk you through some existing frameworks on which I have based my body of work and my research on. Number three, I'll walk you through a framework that I've created that you can then take to your clients or to your companies and see how you can start applying this newfound knowledge in your current situations. And then we can talk about the next steps on how you can do this in your particular situation. Since we are a small group, this might be a place where you can ask me direct questions and I can help guide you. Cool. So, are there any questions? I'm very aware that I've been talking for a long time. So, feel free to interrupt, turn on the microphone, and interject with a question if you want. It's not one of those people where I'm the wise person who'll be giving a sermon. So, feel free to interrupt me as many times as you want. Don't worry about it. All right. This is the talent development capability model. And believe me, when I first saw it, I shut down the book. I had a big book in my hand. I was studying for CPTD certification. And when I saw this on the very first page, I was like, oh my God, there's just no way I'll be able to study through all this. It looks so pedantic, so boring, so theoretical. And of all these things, the big circle with blue, green, and yellows, no matter how cute they've tried to make it, my least favorite was actually knowledge management, I have to say. Honestly, when I was studying for this topic, I just couldn't get myself to learn more about knowledge management or to study about it so I could even pass my exam. And that's actually what got me started researching on that topic, because I was like, why am I not interested when it's such a crucial topic? And I started researching, I started having more conversations. And the podcast that Kirti was telling about is actually a culmination of that, where I talk to leaders in different industries and we figure out how do we manage the knowledge that we have better. Now, I keep talking about the word knowledge management, but why should you care? Why should anybody care? Why should learning and development specifically care about this topic? I think the first and the most important for me is because learning and development as a function has struggled to be seen as a strategic partner for a very, very long time, to be given a seat at the table. We're always the nice to have people and not must have people. So, knowledge management could be a very straightforward way for learning and development people to be seen as strategic partners. Then, low cost learning. All of you are from L&D, and I have never met a single L&D person in my life who hasn't heard the much dreaded sentence of, oh, we don't have the budget for this year. Give me a thumbs up if you've heard this in your careers. We don't have the budget for this program. We don't have a budget for this training, whatever it is. You have, right? And it's more common than not. So knowledge management, if done well, can give you a very low cost learning solution for your clients or for the companies that you work in. Then the third is async P2P learning. With companies becoming more and more remote, they need asynchronous learning. And P2P stands for peer-to-peer learning. With companies being remote, this serendipitous learning that used to happen when people would bump into each other while having a coffee or at the water cooler, and they would talk about, what happened yesterday, or this is what my client said. All those conversations have fizzled out. So this kind of knowledge management framework that I've worked on actually encourages this peer-to-peer learning and in asynchronous situations as well. Then, of course, knowledge retention. It's absolutely impossible for any company to retain the talent that they have, no matter what you try, no matter how much more you pay them or how many employee engagement activities you have going on. The talent will still leave because there'll always be better opportunities or more purposeful work that people can find. But there's a way to retain the knowledge that they have acquired so that you will continue to use it for your company's benefit. And then build learning culture. Learning culture is I think, the most misused phrase. It's the most ethereal, nebulous phrase that people use. And everybody wants to do it, but nobody knows how to do it. So the framework that I've built actually supports in that, in helping you build that learning culture and improve onboarding. I think after attrition, slow onboarding is one of the biggest challenges that talent management has, HR has, companies have, because people take a very long time to come up to speed and really start performing after joining a job. And many a times, because the organizational knowledge is not easily available, they learn a lot of things through trial and error or through bumping into things. Even simple things like I was working for a very large technology company a while ago, and I was running an onboarding activity, and the HR head, she said, after you design the onboarding, that's when I found out that we have a gym in the same building where we work. So onboarding can be extremely slow, and people don't know the basics sometimes. So having this system for knowledge management can actually help you improve onboarding for new people, so they can start performing, they know things faster, and they can really deliver results for the company. Cool. So if you were to forget all of these, I would recommend that you don't forget the first one, because that is an important thing for us as L&D people, to be seen as strategic partner, because we can do so much more for the organizations if we're seen as a solution provider and not just as an overhead that a company has. Thank you for the brain icon. All right. So what's knowledge management anyway? You see, this is a very busy slide, so sorry for that in advance, but there is a lot to cover. You see a definition on the left and a graph, a triangular diagram on the right with a pop-up that says quiz. So there's a lot we'll talk about in this. So knowledge management, if you look up that phrase online, you'll see at least 129 definitions. I was able to find 129 definitions of the phrase knowledge management. And there's not a single one that captures all the things that are underneath it. I found a simple one that's easy to understand and easy to implement. So knowledge management in a very simple language is collecting, sharing, and using an organization's knowledge and information to achieve the goals. You see, achieve goals is bold, because that's the ultimate reason why we should care about knowledge management. It's not just for the sake of documentation or for people who are organized or for people to have their SOP or operations manuals in place. It is to achieve organizational goals. So this graph is the most celebrated one in knowledge management domain. Many knowledge management people who work in IT, they usually have seen this, but L&D people haven't. And it talks about information or knowledge at 4 levels. It starts with data, goes on to information, knowledge, and wisdom. And many companies worry about data and information a lot, a little bit about knowledge, and very little about wisdom. Whereas if you see on the left side, the arrows, wisdom is what takes you to the future in the company, in the industry, as you go forward on your growth spurt. So data, very simply put, data is the raw information that you have. In this case, I love this example, so I added that there, is red. You're on a street, you see the color red. That's the data point you have. But what is the information? Information is what gives it meaning. So that red light tells you, oh, okay, so this is a red light on the corner of street A and street B, which has now turned red. Now, knowledge is what gives you context to that red traffic light. It tells you, oh, I'm driving towards that red signal. So that's the context you need to have. And wisdom is what tells you, which is the applied part of it, which tells you, oh, I need to stop my car, or there's going to be an accident, or I'll break a traffic rule, whatever it is. So this is an oversimplistic example to tell you what does the knowledge or information that's contained in an organization look like. So this is what knowledge management is. Just being able to collect, share, and use this information. And that usage comes from application of that knowledge at the wisdom level. So I know this has been very, very pedantic till now. And Amola, should I be saying something about the links that you've just shared here? Oh, okay.
No,
These are
no,
e-led.
no, it's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Great. No worries. All right. Is everybody here with me? Give me a thumbs up or something to tell me that you can still hear me, see me. Yes, Kirti. Aditunji, you there? Super cool. Okay, and Amal, I'm sure you're there. So I won't ask you to give me a thumbs up. that brings me to the quiz. This is a quiz that I created to figure out how are the companies doing about this crucial topic, which most companies are usually after the shiny new object about the next new leadership skills development program or the team building program or the outbound program. But this is such a low hanging fruit. There's such a low cost, easy to implement system that many companies neglect. So let's take a quiz and see how your organizations are doing about it. If you're a freelancer now, but you've held a position in the past, I want you to think about these 12 questions. Take a piece of paper and mark a yes or no. And there's a key, the scoring key as well on the side. So give yourself a score as well on each of these. I'll wait for 2 minutes while you read through it. These are different aspects of knowledge management and how a company is doing on that. I'll catch a breather while you do this quiz. Is the is the quiz visible to everyone? Cool. Thanks, Kirti. Just leave an emoji in the chat once you're done scoring yourself on the quiz. Any questions about the terms that I've used in the quiz? Please let me know. Tunji, all good? Thanks for sharing your Kirti. Is this from your previous organization? Cool. How about you, Arindamola? Were you able to score it? Arindamola? Cool. Thanks for sharing. Aditunji, do you need another minute to complete it? Oh, 2 out of 12. That is superb. Is that for your current employer or old employer? Yeah, that's an excellent score. So I see someone new has joined us. I'm not sure what your name is. It says Darlings. Oh, But hi, I'm Neha, and I'm the facilitator for today. And we're somewhere midway, and we just completed a quiz on knowledge management. So if you want, I'll leave this up for another minute as I go on to the next slide. And these are the 12 questions that I invite you to respond to. Maybe take a piece of pen and paper and score yourself, and then that will tell you about your organization and how well you're doing in terms of knowledge management. If you could write your real name in the chat, and also if you're currently working in full-time position or as a freelancer. And for the rest of you, keep Aditunji.
You called my name?
Yes. Oh, yeah, Aditunji. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, but I
Yeah.
don't know why you called my name.
No, I was appreciating the scores that you have here, and I was actually inviting the last person who joined the call, someone whose name says Darlings here, to take the quiz with us. So while we are doing this, Aditunji, I want to ask you from the scores, where did you lose those two? Where did you get those 2 points? Was it in the first category, the second category, or the third one?
First one, and then question number 1 and question number 8.
Question number 1 and question number 8. So employees who work remotely. Okay, so it's a local organization. And question number 8, our learning efforts focus on both explicit and tacit knowledge. Cool. Thank you for bringing that up, because that question number 8 sentence is something that many people get stuck on. If you go back to the graph that I showed you, this information and data is the explicit knowledge. So things which can be easily documented, written down, and shared with people, processes, facts, numbers, etc. And knowledge and wisdom are at the level of tacit knowledge, which are difficult to relay through writing it down. Many a times they come in form of anecdotes or in form of storytelling, where people just tell you about how things went, and then you're seen as an expert at something because, oh, you know what, give this to Ayurveda, she'll know exactly how to do it, she's just good at it. So this good at it, being expert at something, doesn't just come, it comes from years of practice. Like she was saying, she has 20 years of entrepreneurship experience. So there must be things that she's really good at, and that's tacit knowledge. So with the scores the way it is, I hope the last person has been able to take the quiz till now. I'll go on and share with you a framework that. Yeah, hi.
Sorry, Neha, I have a question though.
Go ahead.
How would this apply to someone who is a freelancer?
So that's a very insightful question, and I think a couple of you are freelancers here, right? So that's an important point as well. So this, as a tool, since I built it, I've been using it to have conversations with my clients, because I'm a consultant and a freelancer as well. And I've been having these conversations with my clients who are looking for sometimes low-cost solutions, more strategic solutions. And this could be a great way you can actually help your clients. And again, be seen as that strategic partner that I was talking about. So being a strategic partner doesn't have to be an internal thing. Even if as a freelancer or as an external consultant, if you help bring the clients on the journey with you, or bring them one step ahead in the game, and help them see the other things, the other possibilities of the type of learnings or trainings that they can create within the organization, you'll be seen as a strategic partner. So as a freelancer, this is a topic that you should be aware of, because your client might not be aware of it. And if you share this knowledge with them, they might start respecting you more, and you might get more business, even if we talk dollar wise. Does that answer the question, Arindamola? Cool. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to interject and ask. All right. So that brings me to the framework that I've built based on the conversations that I've been having and the research that I'm doing these days. on knowledge management. So I built this framework specifically to address the top two tiers of that triangle we saw, the knowledge and the wisdom part. And it has three phases. So this is basically a step-by-step blueprint if you want to implement some of these things in your own company or at your client side. The first phase is identify expertise. The second is to simplify the tacit knowledge. And the last one is to launch the system. Because eventually people don't care what the program looks like or the workshops, etc. What they care about is what they get out of it. So the last piece is about launching the system that the organization can use internally or your clients can use internally that can help them make sure that knowledge sharing is happening. So through identify expertise, the first step is domain mapping, figuring out with the key stakeholders in a business about what's the core function, what are the things that are needed for organizational development, for the organization to be future ready. Then we talk about identifying experts. Not everybody is good at everything, right? So figuring out within these domains or within these core functions, who are the people that people you always go to, or who are respected people. If they need advice, they know, oh, this is the person you should talk to if you want advice on engineering or on solutions architecture, whatever the core function may be. Then recognize specialism even within that domain. For example, it is engineering. Not every engineer will be good at every type of engineering topic, right? So figuring out what is the niche that this particular subject matter expert or expert has really nailed down, is really good at. So first identify what is the expertise and who are the experts. Then second is to simplify that tacit knowledge. I see a chat question here. Let me come back to it, Kirti, once I've done with this framework. The second is simplify tacit knowledge. Many a times in the years that I've worked in, I've realized I've worked with engineers, I've worked with lawyers, I've worked with doctors, I've worked with scientists, and I've realized that many a times these experts are amazing at applying the knowledge that they have, but they're not very good at relaying the knowledge they have. So first, working with these experts to uncover what are the achievements, what are the success stories, what are the things that make them the expert in their own fields, and studying those case studies to see what are the lessons that people can learn from it, which is the second step, distilling those lessons, because these success stories are useless if there are no takeaways for people to learn from. And then practice messaging, because it's, again, they are not very good at relaying these messages, to giving them the right language, the right mode, the right stories to tell, the right crispiness to the message is something that organizations can work on. And the last one is actually to launch the system that is usable, that's accessible, that people from different time zones and different in different asynchronous situations can learn from. And for that, recording the experts as they deliver these master classes or these messages that they have, these lessons that they have learned, these success stories, creating a master class, something like an e-learning, but that's something that is very inward looking with internal experts, and then testing that content to release it for the internal people to learn from. And a system like this can be used to onboard new people, to teach their teams, or to create new experts, or to understand cross-functional learnings from other people in the organization. So that's the expert edge framework that I've worked on and that I usually share with my clients. I'm happy to share this with all of you if you want to implement this somewhere. But this, I think, is a very easy way to help organizations retain the knowledge they have and create a very low-cost solution for learning and creating that culture of learning. All right, that brings me to the question that Kirti popped up here. Should we have a knowledge management system for ourselves as a freelancer? That's a brilliant question. And somebody has written, assuming we are our own organization. Yes, to help our clients as consultants. You know what? There are two aspects to it. One, like Ayanda Mola very rightly shared, to help the clients that we serve. But on the other hand, Kirti, if we talk on a more meta level, sometimes we also forget what we know. Over the years, as we collect more experiences, more we work with different clients, different regions, different nationalities. We sometimes very easily forget about an expertise that we carry or things that we have already done in the past. And it is applicable not just in terms of knowledge, but also in terms of achievements. So having this system where you can tabulate or where you can concisely represent things that you have worked on in the past, your successes, your key talents, your the things that make you great at what you do, I think can be a great resource personally as well. I had not thought about that. I thought about the organizations and how they can implement it. But if you want, it can also become a wonderful self-development tool, not just for a freelance facilitator or L&D person, but for any professional who wants to develop in their careers and to get better at what they do. Does that answer your question, Kirti?
Yes, it does. I have a follow-up question. Can
Sure.
I ask right now, or
Go ahead.
should I wait? Okay. So, I'm thinking about ways of storing this information for ourselves, because at times, if we carry out a certain area of, say, for example, a session, if I'm talking about my work, and I repeat those sessions several number of times with different target audience, there is a learning curve that happens while we redo our own work.
True.
So, according to you, would you suggest a good way of storing this information and referring back and digging out data mining from the plethora of knowledge base that we acquire over periods of time with references and everything?
So while you were talking about it, I made the mistake of started thinking. I hope I got the question correctly. Let me repeat it. So you said sometimes you deliver the same session or the same program repeatedly, and you learn new things with different times that you deliver it, different experiences, different people, and how do you document that improvement that you have made over the years or things that you have learned and now make you a better facilitator on that topic? Did I get that right?
Yes, correct. With the purpose of referring back to the resources whenever required.
Right. So what I do, specifically in a situation like this where I have to repeatedly deliver the same message or the same program in different situations, is I very fastidiously keep notes at the bottom of my presentations or at the bottom of my facilitator notes for any program, and that's where I add any program related developments or any program related learnings. Like in all my standard programs, I have an FAQ section just for myself, and that FAQ section for myself tells me about the FAQs that people ask me during the session. So let's talk, for example, executive presence is one of the programs that I've delivered at least 20 times in my life. And on that topic, when I started off, I was like, what kind of questions are people even going to have? But over the years, I have created a list of some 30 odd questions that people have asked me about the stance, about eye contact, about clothing, about sitting, about etiquettes, all sorts of things. So, and that list is ever growing. But I know the next time that that question comes up, I'll be able to respond to it better. There have been times when I've been caught off guard and I'm like, I have no idea how to respond to that question. But after the session, I do my homework and then it's added to my FAQ. So the next time that question pops up, I'm slightly more wise. I'm slightly smarter than I was last time. And that's my list of resources that tells me, hey, these are the things that pop up. These are the questions that different audiences have asked you. So be prepared about this. So that's how I use it in context of a program facilitation guide. Fair enough?
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Kemisola, I haven't heard from you at all. At what point did you pop into the program? I'm sorry, I missed it. You can turn on your microphone and say something if you want. Say hi to the group if you want.
I'm just here enjoying it. I just came in like 15 minutes ago. So
Okay.
I'm listening.
All right. And are you
Yeah.
a freelancer or do you work for a company and is it L&D?
Yes, I was. My last job was actually L&D. So I'm
Mhm.
still new in L&D and I know I have a lot to learn. So that's why I'm here to listen.
Okay, superb.
Yes.
So we're almost towards the end of the session, but at the end, I'll give you an opportunity to give me a quick feedback, and also I can send this slide deck to you, which will also have the quiz. So, Kemisola, I really invite you to try the quiz on and see how your own organization is doing in terms of knowledge management and the places which you can actually make an impact. And you're saying something, Kemisola. Go ahead.
I said, okay, that will be good.
Super. And darlings, is that your real name? I'm sorry, I haven't had a chat with you yet. Do you need help with unmuting yourself? I'm happy to do that for you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, that's my first name.
Hi.
Yes, please.
Cool. You joined at a point where we were on the quiz. Were you able to complete the quiz?
Yes, I tried, but I can't submit.
Super.
And then I had 6/12.
Okay, that's cool. 6 on 12 is borderline. Anything above 6 or 6 is something that will need attention in an organization.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks for sharing with us, darlings.
All right.
All right. So this brings us to the end of the session today, and I want you to reflect on the things that we talked about, anything new that you've learned, or any useful information that you found. And if there's something that can benefit your organization. I'll be honest, this is the first time that I'm delivering this particular session. It's a research that I've recently completed and I've just built the framework. So I'm now sharing it with more and more people. And this is my first opportunity to share it with a group of learning and development people who can actually use it right from tomorrow. So, Arindamola, thank you for inviting me for this session. But I want all of you to think about these three questions and in the chat, pop in at least one sentence as you reflect on these three questions. One thing I learned today is that I can also use a similar framework for personal development or professional development and not just for organizational development. How about you all? Thanks, Arindamola. Thank you. I did say if you would take back just one thing, take this one. And you took it, being a strategic partner. And it is definitely a way to help your clients with a low cost solution. Cool. Anything else that anybody captured or any way that you want to use some of this information you got today? Hey, I don't get hurt very easily. So if you think today's session was a complete waste of time, feel free to write that as well. I don't mind. I'll take that as a feedback and continue to improve my sessions. Cool. Thank you, Kirti. I think that's a learning that you gave me, so I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's the whole point of view I had, because knowledge management is such an ignored topic and it's such a crucial one that I want to make sure people are more aware of it and see how easy it is to do something about it. So, yes, thank you. I take that as the biggest compliment that I was able to simplify the topic for you. Anything else that you would like to add, darlings, Kamisola, Adetunji? Adetunji, you've been here since the beginning. Tell me something that you uh, are taking away from the session today. All right. Even if some of you haven't had a chance to think about it or to write it yet, I hope you take the questions back and think about what is the best way to implement some of these things in your work, your day-to-day work, or in your future jobs, wherever they may take you. Cool. Now, some of you might be interested in the session notes or the quiz that I shared with all of you. So if you take out your phone and scan this QR code, it has 2 questions that I'm going to ask you, and then you can leave your email ID there so I can send the session notes and the quiz so you can refer back to it at a later date.
Yeah. So sorry. I had so unstable network. That's why you were not able to hear me the other time.
Oh, no
I
worries,
hope you can
Aditya.
hear me.
Yeah, now I
Yeah.
can.
So thank you very much. It was very helpful and insightful. Only that I missed out on the framework, and I'm hoping that I'll get recording to learn the framework. I like the aspect that you mentioned when you were answering Ketch's questions, how you impute in your facilitators notes some of the insights and learnings that will help you to tailor your trainings to the particular audience. I think it's one of the things I want to start implementing. Then also start documenting some of the learnings from my training sessions, documenting it somewhere so that even if I'm no longer in the organization or the academy, someone can pick it up from there and start using it.
Absolutely. And you can take it to the next organization as a learning that you have built over the years as well. Thank you so much, Aditunjay. So if all of you can scan this really quickly, I'll be happy to send these session notes and the quiz to all of you so you can use it. Anybody still struggling to scan? Nope. Okay. That's it. Stay in touch. I'm on LinkedIn. Way too active, but it's good to connect with new people, especially in L&D. And if you want to chat, feel free to send me a hi, and I'm happy to talk about this topic. And that's all from my side, Ayinda Mola. I will give the stage back to you and stop sharing my screen.
Oh, great, great, great. Let's show some love to Neha with the React feature on Butter. You can use soundboard. You can use reaction. Let's show some love. Thank you, thank you. That's been an amazing session. Great, great session. I've taken quite a lot from this. As you can see in the chat, we put all our feedbacks, and it's been amazing. Thank you so much, Neha, for honoring the invitation to facilitate this session. And like you said earlier, knowledge management is not a topic that is talked about, and I'm super happy that you are taking this upon yourself to spread the word. It's really amazing. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to share my screen now and just share a few things with us before we leave. Okay, yeah. So as we can see, we've just been talked to by Neha. She shared her LinkedIn profile. Make sure you connect with her. She's really amazing. We've had our question time, and I just want to quickly talk to us about ELEAD. When ELEAD started about a year ago, I wasn't sure of how it was going to be, but it's been well received. We've had our monthly webinars, we've had workshops, we had our first conference in May, which Neha was one of our speakers. It was so amazing. The turnout was fantastic. And we also started our mentorship program where you can volunteer as an expert in L&D to mentor other people. It's totally free. You're not going to pay. Being a member of the community is free. We're open to having people join us from all over the world because our operations are totally virtual. And we have a number of members who also have been volunteering to be, as part of this community. It's been really, really amazing. We have a group on Discord, which I shared in the chat with us. If you'd like to join and you're not yet a member, part of the Discord group, make sure to check the link in the chat and join us. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us, check our YouTube channel. most of our sessions which are definitely recorded. Most of them are on YouTube. If you just check the link, you'll be able to have access to resources. If you're not sure how to, if you're not, of course, what you can have access to on YouTube is the mentorship program. So if you join the Discord group, you have access to that. We always share information about all our programs. And we're going to be celebrating early at 1. On our Discord group, we're almost 100 people, which for me is really, really amazing. We started with a WhatsApp group that had a mix of L&D professionals and non-L&D professionals. Now everyone in that Discord group is an L&D professional. We're almost 100 in number, which for me is amazing. And we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be sending information to us on all our platforms about what's going to be happening towards the end of next month and November. So let's stay tuned.
And let's show some love to Elite that completes a whole year and with 100 members and all the hard work that Ayendamola and the team has put in.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So we'd also like to, hear from you, feedback. If you can scan this QR code and give us feedback about what you would like us to teach about in our webinars. What would you like to learn in the workshops? In the workshops, we actually teach practical stuff, e-learning development, e-learning design. We get our hands dirty. We're not just being talked back to. We learn different models and principles and how to use different tools, and we practice. We get assignments. So give us feedback about what you would like to learn about anything L&D, especially related to digital learning design. So on this note, we've come to the end of this webinar today. Let's show more love to Neha, and that's it. So be on the lookout as you join all the let me see, I hope we can find the links there. If you scroll a bit up, you see all the links to reach out to us. So thank you so much, Neha. You're well appreciated. Thank you everyone who has joined us today. Thank you so much. So you guys do have a lovely weekend and see you next time. Bye everyone.
Thank you, Ayendamola. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.